Well, I always had this notion of this, Angel trying to show this guy a lesson
Uh-huh.
and him saying, yeah, no, you're wrong." And, playing with that "It's a Wonderful Life" kinda trope. I kind of grew the movie from there, and then you start coming up with ideas like, "Oh, okay, well, what if the angel's not supposed to change the guy's life? What if he's supposed to do, like, a lower duty? Like, he's only supposed to save people when they're texting and driving."
Uh-huh.
And then it's like, "Oh, well, what if he gets fired after he does the thing with my character? Then he's human." And it became a fun thing to write from there. Yeah, I was very inspired by a lot of these older films from the 30s and 40s, like Sullivan's Travels and My Man Godfrey,
Yeah.
movies that kind of dealt with class and wealth inequality, but were comedies.
Mhm.
So the idea of doing a movie like that set in today's world seemed very fun, and also the whole angel thing was a fun thing to play with. And once we got Keanu as Angel, it all kind of came together well for me. It's interesting. 'Cause we locked the movie end of last year,
Yeah.
and, I felt like, "Oh, man, I wish this would come out right now. It really feels like it's on the moment," but now it feels even more on the moment, I don't know why. But as far as the movie changing, yeah, you write these scripts, and for me anyway, my process has always been you continually rewrite, you continually have ideas because you get so engrossed in this world of this film, and you keep coming up with ideas. You're in LA and you see these little delivery robots. You're like, "Wait, that's gotta go on this movie." That was something I we were in LA in prep, and we just kept seeing these little delivery robots. And, Seth's character, Jeff, is does DoorDash at some point,
Mhm.
Foodser, as we call it in the film. And I was like, "Oh, that that robot's gotta get on his nerves. It's gotta be a competing." And so you add that, and then you're on set with Keanu, and he's so funny, and you keep coming up with more ideas for his character. I mean, the Gabriel part, it kept growing and growing because we could just tell, like, Keanu was just on fire. He was just doing such a good job, and I just kept coming up with more and more fun stuff for him.
Does he improvise?
A little bit. He doesn't like to give himself any credit, but he does. He's got some jokes that made it in, and he's also very great at just, like, look, me and Seth are so comfortable in our way of
Yeah.
working, and for him to just jump in and to the deep end with us was very impressive.
Mhm.
I remember pulling Seth aside at some point and saying, "Could you imagine if we did an action movie and we were on set with Keanu? Like, how uncomfortable and terrible we'd be. Look at how quickly he can play with us." And there's just I would just throw jokes at Keanu, and he would just immediately say them exactly how I had in my head, but like 15-20% funnier. And it was magical. I'd never met Keanu before. His team had read the script or knew about the script, and they reached out to my casting director, Carmen Cuba, and Carmen was like, "What do you think about Keanu?" And I was like, "Keanu, like, that just seems so he's such a megastar. It didn't seem like something that would really be possible." But he happened to be in London where I was at the time. I before I met him, I did like a little Keanu film festival, and I obviously focused on some of the comedic stuff, Bill and Ted, and Parenthood in particular. When I watched him as Todd in that film, I was like, "Oh, whoa, there's a little bit of Gabriel here," and just imagining just kind of tweaking that a little bit and getting a
Uh-huh.
little bit of the stuff he was doing in Bill and Ted and kind of putting it all together and adding this new element that kind of comes with his age. He's got this sageness to him, and
Yeah.
and putting that all together, I was like, this is a pretty amazing combo if we can pull this off. And when I was reading the script and kind of imagining his voice, it was really making me laugh. And I was immediately like, oh, it's got to be him. The guy's sleeping in his car and all this is very dark stuff, but you can find comedy in it if you really
Yeah.
try. I mean, I always think about some of the darkest moments of my life, whether it's, the death of a friend. I mean, I remember, my dear friend Harris Whittles that passed away.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
remember we were at his funeral service, and me and a few other guys, we got into this limo that was taking us to, I guess where he was being buried,
Yeah.
and we get in the car, we're all sitting there, we're in black suits, and it's about as down a moment as you could have, right? We get in this limo, the guy turns it on, and I guess he'd had some, like, prom party or something in there, so he turns the car on, all these disco lights and things start going off, and we're like, "What is that? This is not the vibe." But that happens, like, life does that.
Yeah.
Life is a comedy writer. Life
Yeah.
is not a drama writer. As far as film, yeah, it's difficult, and, I feel incredibly fortunate that Lionsgate, really supported this film and believed in the idea and believed in the theatricality of it. I love movies, and you gotta give it a shot. I've been very fortunate. People talk to me about, like, "Oh, man, it's been a tricky road to get down here." It's like, "Hey, man, I have friends that have been trying to make movies for a long time, and they haven't been able to get financing." Very talented people with very interesting sounding projects, and it's really hard. So I consider myself incredibly lucky. Yes, it's hard to get stuff made. The thing that helps is talent on the level of, especially Keanu, choosing to do
Yeah.
interesting original films. And whenever I see some big star doing something cool like that, I tip my hat to him, and
Mhm.
and I think that's really cool because 'cause they're not getting paid the
Yeah.
the major check,
Mhm.
they're doing something because they wanna make something cool, and in doing that, they're giving all these people an opportunity to work on something cool. After last night, I was like, "God damn, we played our hand perfectly."
What's
Like, to come to Toronto, where it seems like this is really a festival about people going to movies. Like, I see people waiting in line, like real people waiting in line for movies. It's not like industry people waiting to get free
right?
jackets. It's like it's like movie going people. And to be
Yeah.
there last night when that theater was with, 1,500, 2,000 people was incredible. I mean, that's like what we wanted to do
Yeah.
times 5, normal packed theater is 300. I mean, I'd seen the movie with an audience, with, like, a real theater audience once, like, the first preview we did, that was 300 people, and even that wasn't the finished movie because we hadn't shot some of the stuff because of Keanu's knee,
Mhm.
and that last night, that was, 5 times the amount of people,
Wow.
and then it was also, fully color corrected, and the sound was mixed, and score and everything was done. Yeah, I'd love for this to go well and just keep making movies, and, when I look at the careers of, director friends that are able to
Yeah.
continually make films and get on a roll, because that's what's, tough stand-up, it's very easy to get to the gym.
Mhm.
I can go to a comedy club tonight, it's not a problem,
Yeah.
and I can get better, I can work on my jokes, but as a director, getting to the gym
Yeah.
it's a journey.
Yeah.
It's tough, but I think it does get easier the more you do it. You learn from the experience, but it's a much longer and varied experience, you
Mhm.
know? I'd love to, be fortunate enough to continue making films, and I love films, and I'm so glad to be here in Toronto with one.